Did Matthew think Peter was a false apostle? This is SkyWatchTV for Tuesday, November 3rd, 2015. I'm Derek Gilbert. Evangelical scholar Robert Gundry makes that case in a new book, Peter, False Disciple and Apostate, According to St. Matthew. Gundry told Christianity Today in an interview that he believes Matthew edited the Gospel of Mark to paint Peter in an unfavorable light. Unlike the other Gospels, Matthew doesn't show Peter being restored to the group after denying Christ 3 times the night before the crucifixion. Gundry said Matthew's message warns that even the most committed disciples can fall away, while the accounts in Luke and John show that even cowardly deniers can be restored. He adds that the differing accounts don't force readers to accept one gospel over another, but other scholars aren't quite ready to believe that Matthew was so down on Peter, suggesting, for example, that Matthew didn't perhaps feel the need to explain the story of Peter in full, since the audience was already familiar with the Gospel of Mark and possibly other stories of Peter from the letters of Paul and the history recorded by Luke in the book of Acts. Coming to present day in Europe, parts of it being overrun by refugees, the flood of Middle Eastern migrants creating some difficult situations in Europe. The United Nations says over 218,000 people crossed the Mediterranean Sea in October alone. That's 2,000 people more than all of 2014. One example, the village of Sumte in eastern Germany. It's home to 102 residents, and those 102 residents have been told to prepare for 750 migrants. And this was a compromise, as the regional government originally wanted them to take 1,000. Empty buildings at an office park in the village are being transformed into temporary housing, and scenes like this are occurring all over Europe. It's feeding a growing discontent in some corners. We're starting to see reports of scattered violence against refugees and vandalism of shelters. But at the same time, there are reports of violence, especially against women, by these new arrivals. In August, a coalition of four social work organizations in Germany sent a letter to a regional parliament. They said that the lack of gender-specific sanitary facilities, buildings that can't be locked, and a lack of safe havens for women and girls is leading to a growing number of rapes, sexual assaults, and women being forced into prostitution. At one shelter in Bavaria, 80% of the refugees are men, and the price there for sex with female asylum seekers is down to 10 euros. One social worker at that shelter says that we've become the largest brothel in Europe. Now, it's difficult to know the real truth of the situation there. We're on the other side of the ocean, and while some accuse the government and liberal media of covering up reports of violence committed by the migrants in order to push their multicultural agenda, on the other hand, there are neo-Nazi elements in parts of Europe there that would love to use these accounts as propaganda to stir up violence against the migrants. The best we can do is try to pick through a variety of news sources from all across the political spectrum to try to come at something close to the truth. And as much as we want to see those in need treated with Christian charity, the sad reality is, if we learn nothing from history, it's that diversity plus proximity equals violence. In other news, a mystery on the steppes of Kazakhstan discovered by Google Earth. Researchers have found giant symbols, some as big as several football fields, in a remote treeless region of northern Kazakhstan. These are dated to about 8,000 BC and include squares, crosses, lines, rings, and a primitive swastika, which was an Indo-European symbol of good luck until it was appropriated by the Nazis in the 1930s. These are constructed from mounds that were originally about 6 to 10 feet tall and about 30 feet across. Researchers say they don't believe that these were intended to be seen from outer space, which shoots down theories of ancient Nazi astronauts. A mystery growing in Wyoming, literally. A huge crack is open in the ground there. The crack now about 150 feet wide and 1/3 of a mile long, and growing longer by the day, apparently. It's up to 100 feet deep in some places, but geologists say it's not really that unusual, just due to an unusually wet weather they've been having out there in Wyoming this year. From the Department of Pre-Crime, a story from Manchester, New Hampshire, where an 18-year-old young man was arrested for being at the wrong place, according to a computer program. 18-year-old Connor Dallaire pulled in by police on October 20th. the afternoon of October 20th, for parking his car in an area determined by a computer algorithm to be a hotspot for crime activity. Many of the details are still unknown, but apparently an officer approached Dallaire at about 5:20 on that Tuesday afternoon. After asking Dallaire to get out of his car, the officer asked to conduct a pat-down for safety purposes. Now, Dallaire apparently did not consent. The officer proceeded anyway. During the pat-down, he found the magazine for a 9mm handgun, which another officer who'd arrived on the scene found inside Dallaire's car. He checked it out. It was properly permitted and registered. But at that point, Dallaire, police say, grew agitated, and after being transitioned to the ground, pepper sprayed and tased by newly arriving officers, Dallaire was booked on a charge of resisting arrest. Now, the Manchester Police Department has been conducting an operation in that area they call Granite Hammer to try to combat a heroin epidemic in hotspots like the one Dallaire was found in. So it would appear that we're beginning to see Minority Report type pre-crime policing. Of course, the other issue connected to this story is that during a consensual encounter, Dallaire voluntarily got out of his car. Police don't have the right to conduct a search or a pat-down without the consent of the subject, which, again, Dallaire apparently did not give. Now, setting aside what may just have been a misunderstanding of the law by the officers, the fact remains that the only reason they conducted the pat-down in the first place was because a computer program predicted that he was there to do something illegal. Technology is changing the way we live in many ways. Biometric banking could be a step closer to reality. It is growing in popularity and being sold to us as a way to buy and sell securely and conveniently. Stories selling the convenience and security aspects are popping up on major media. I mean, after all, why deal with the hassle of remembering a PIN or password when your face, your fingerprints, your voice are always there with you? And of course, much harder to hack. And of course, while you're at it, why even bother with cash anymore? A move to an electronic currency, strictly electronic currency, is growing. In Europe, Sweden, banks there have begun removing ATMs from across the country. The amount of cash in circulation in Sweden has dropped about 20% in the last 5 years. The rule of thumb, according to some observers in Scandinavia, is that if you're using cash, something's wrong. I mean, only people with something to hide use cash, right? The Swedish central bank is apparently behind this move, and there may be another motive here at work. As the economy slows down in Europe, interest rates at central banks have dropped to below zero. At the Swedish central bank at this point, the interest rate is minus 0.35%, which means, of course, if you put your money into a bank, they're charging you to hold it. Now, you can only go so far in negative interest rate territory before people will withdraw all of their cash, leaving banks with no reserves whatsoever. However, if cash is all electronic and directly deposited from your employer into a bank account, then you would no longer have that option, and central bankers would be free to pursue interest rates as low into negative territory as they want to go, which of course encourages all of us consumers to take our money and immediately spend it, which is what Keynesian economics teaches is the engine that drives economics. We're spending it, our consumer-based economy continues to roll along, and the bankers are happy. At some point, however, in order to encourage us to accept a cashless society, we will need to be sold on a global security standard. Perhaps a mark in the hand or right here. The United Kingdom, as we're on the topic of technology, has become the first nation on planet Earth to legalize three-parent babies. And we're not talking step-parents here. We're talking about three genetic parents, two women and a man. The procedure, which is done outside the womb, involves DNA material from a donor woman. This can reduce genetic health problems in the child in some cases. Researchers say this may help as many as 2,500 families in the United Kingdom per year. It is interesting, though, that the technology has now arrived where the claim made by the ancient Mesopotamian hero Gilgamesh to be 2/3 God, 1/3 human can now be accomplished in a lab. 2/3 one species and 1/3 other. And that's one of the reasons we are looking at technology with our new documentary film just weeks away from release. Inhuman, the next and final phase of man is here. And tonight on SkyWatch TV, we discuss the transhumanist movement and the new movie. Tom Horn and Sharon K. Gilbert join me in studio for the first of a two-part discussion of the transhumanist movement. What are its goals and how are they, those behind it, trying to achieve those goals? And of course, this does lead up to the release of the film Inhuman on November 17th. The program tonight, SkyWatch TV, airs on the Christian Television Network at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 p.m. Central Time on DirecTV Channel 376, Dish Network Channel 267, and the Glory Star Satellite Channel 117. You can also watch it on your computer. The program streams to the web on the Christian Television Network's website, again, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, at ctnonline.com. And if you miss it live tonight, the program will be posted at the SkyWatch TV channels on YouTube and Roku later this week. Registration for the 2016 Rocky Mountain International Prophecy Conference is here. If you haven't registered yet, don't delay. It's limited to the first 1,000 who want to see 24 top speakers regarding geopolitics and Bible prophecy, July 14th through the 17th, 2016 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Registration open now at prophecywatchers.com. We welcome your input, comments, questions, suggestions. Please send those to me at dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. Thank you for watching. As we keep watch, I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.
Coming exclusively from SkyWatch TV for a very limited time starting November 17th, 2015. When you purchase the new documentary film Inhuman and the companion book Dead Pets Don't Lie from SkyWatch TV, you'll receive the largest giveaway in SkyWatch TV history. An unprecedented $300 in free books, audio sets, and DVDs to add to your library or to give away as gifts during this holiday season. Included in this limited time giveaway are never before offered free audio sets. Over 30 hours of the most sought after interviews in history with global experts combined on a special 2-disc volume set discussing the unfolding genetic Armageddon now underway and what you need to know to survive the future. Featuring Something Transhumanism This Way Comes, The Coming Replacement Humans, The Days of Noah, The Coming Zombie Apocalypse, Conspiracy Theory, Psychotronic Warfare. Also, for a very limited time, in addition to the never-before-offered free best-selling audio sets, if you order before this special offer expires, you'll also receive the multi-part SkyWatch TV special investigative report on Inhuman the documentary and Dead Pets Don't Lie, the award-winning book Forbidden Gates, Pandemonium's Engine, the best-selling DVD by dog behavior expert Joe Ardis, The Natural Dog Training Method. The breakthrough book for pet enthusiasts everywhere, Do Our Pets Go to Heaven? 2 additional mystery books with a $40 value. And if you're one of the first 3,000 customers to place your order during this limited time offer, you will also receive, absolutely free, the groundbreaking WorldNet daily film, The Last Pope, featuring Tom Horn. Place your order beginning November 17th, 2015. Altogether, the never-before-offered free 6 full audio series on a 2-disc volume set plus the 5 free books and 2 additional DVDs total an astounding $300 giveaway to add to your library or to give away as gifts during this holiday season. So it's urgent that beginning November 17th, 2015, you order the new documentary film Inhuman and the companion book Dead Pets Don't Lie for only $39.95 to also receive the largest giveaway in SkyWatch TV history. But please understand this offer will end without notification and is on a first-come, first-served basis starting November 17th. So be sure to visit SkyWatchTV.com to follow the countdown to the greatest giveaway in SkyWatch TV history. Order the new documentary film Inhuman and the companion book Dead Pets Don't Lie for only $39.95 to also receive the largest giveaway in SkyWatch TV history.